Alarms were supposed to scream. That was how executions usually began in Riley Carter's experience. Sirens. Soldiers running. Someone shouting orders that came too late. A final moment of chaos before everything ended. Instead, there was only silence. Riley was marched through the inner corridors of the alien citadel, his boots echoing softly against a floor that felt warm. Not heated. Warm, like skin under sunlight. The walls curved smoothly around him, glowing with slow pulses of amber light, as if the building itself were breathing. He didn't like that. His hands were locked inside a restraint field that hummed quietly whenever he moved. When he tried to scratch his cheek, the field buzzed harder, sharp and annoyed, like it had personal opinions about his behavior. Sensitive tech, Riley muttered. The guards did not respond. They were tall, armored figures with 4 eyes and long segmented limbs. Their weapons stayed lowered, but Riley knew better than to feel safe. Weapons didn't need to be raised to kill you. The corridor opened into a vast chamber shaped like a wide crescent. Light panels floated into place as Riley entered, illuminating a throne grown directly from crystal and black alloy. And seated upon it was Queen Nyara Kesh. Her skin was deep brown, smooth and radiant, marked with faint glowing lines that traced ancient symbols along her cheekbones and temples. Her hair was silver white, braided tightly and woven with thin gold filaments that shimmered with quiet power. Her eyes were dark, sharp, and calm, eyes that had watched planets rise and burn. She was unmistakably non-human. And unmistakably royal. A translator drone drifted near Riley's head, blinking to life. "Kneel," it said, smoothing her voice into something calm and precise. "Or you will be executed." Riley looked down at the living floor. Then he looked back up at the Queen. He considered kneeling. He had knelt before, once, years ago, on a frozen battlefield while orbital fire burned the sky red. Kneeling hadn't saved anyone then. So instead, Riley smiled. Not wide. Not mocking. Just a tired, knowing curve of the lips. The room reacted instantly. Energy blades slid from the guards' gauntlets. Targeting symbols flared red across Riley's vision. The air tightened, thick with lethal intent. Riley slowly raised his bound hands. "Before we get to the dying part," he said calmly, "I just want to say, this is a very impressive room. Terrifying, yes, but stylish." The Queen lifted one hand. The guards froze. Her gaze sharpened with interest. "You refuse," Queen Nyara said. "And you smile." Riley shrugged as much as the restraint field allowed. "I've noticed smiling makes powerful people uncomfortable. Sometimes it buys me a few seconds." "Seconds you are wasting." "Story of my life." The Queen rose from her throne. She moved without sound, the living floor responding to her steps. Up close, Riley could see faint lines near her eyes, not weakness, but age earned through survival and rule. "Humans kneel easily," she said. "Fear governs your kind." "Oh, we're excellent at fear," Riley replied. "I'm just having an off day." She stopped directly in front of him. "You stand before death without begging," she said. "Explain." Riley exhaled slowly. "A while back," he said, "there was a fight. No flags. No speeches. Just smoke and screaming. I dragged an alien officer out of a collapsed trench. Didn't know who he was. Didn't care. He was alive." The Queen's posture shifted. "My brother," she said quietly. Riley nodded. "That's him. Complained the whole time. Said humans smelled like burnt metal." A small drone floated forward, scanning Riley's face, his blood, his past. Green light pulsed once. Confirmed. The Queen closed her eyes for a brief moment. Then she laughed. Just once. Soft. Real. The guard's blades retracted. "Stand," Queen Nyara said. "This execution has become inconvenient." Not being executed did not mean being free. Riley learned that quickly. The restraints were removed, which he appreciated, but 2 guards stayed close enough that he could have borrowed sugar from them without turning around. Instead of a cell, he was taken to a chamber that felt halfway between a laboratory and a waiting room. A wide window showed stars bending gently around a gravity lens. Furniture grew out of the floor when Queen Nyara entered, responding to her presence. "You will remain here," she said. "You are not prisoner. You are not guest." Riley looked around. The worst category. She ignored the comment. "You expect no reward," she said. "Yet you live." "I didn't want a reward," Riley replied. "I wanted not to die. Everything else is bonus." A projection flared to life, showing the battlefield where her brother had nearly died. Smoke. Fire. Blood. "You altered a war," Nyara said. "I trip into things," Riley said. "History seems included." Days passed. Riley was allowed to walk parts of the citadel under observation. The structure shifted constantly, halls rearranging themselves like a thinking organism. Nyara appeared often, never announced, as if the citadel itself carried her where she needed to be. She asked him questions. Why humans joked when afraid. Why soldiers kept fighting when hope was gone. Why Riley refused to kneel. "Because kneeling feels like surrender," he said. "Standing feels like choice." She remembered that. The attack came without warning. The citadel hesitated. The floor stuttered beneath Riley's boots. The soft hum dropped half a tone. His skin prickled. Then the lights flared white. Warning glyphs cascaded across the walls. Somewhere deep within the structure, a massive pulse boomed, like a heart misfiring. Queen Nyara appeared instantly. "Stay close," she ordered. They moved fast. Explosions tore through a transit chamber ahead. Armed figures dropped from above, wearing no royal colors. "Extremists," Riley muttered. "The worst kind." Energy fire ripped through the air. Nyara raised a kinetic shield, glowing deep violet. Riley ducked behind it instinctively. "I feel like now would be a great time to renegotiate being unarmed," he said. A weapon unfolded from the wall and snapped into his hand. "Do not break it," Nyara said. "No promises." They fought. Nyara with precision and control. Riley with instinct and stubborn survival. An attacker lunged at the queen with a vibrating blade. Riley moved without thinking. He tackled her sideways. The blade missed by inches. They hit the floor hard. For a brief moment, they lay there, the battle roaring around them. "You have terrible timing," Nyara said. "Consistently," Riley replied. "You alive?" "Yes." "Good." The attackers were defeated. The citadel stabilized. Later, on a quiet balcony, Queen Nyara stood beside him without guards. "You saved me," she said. "Again," Riley replied. She turned to him. "You refused to kneel," she said. "And in doing so, you taught my empire something it forgot." Advisors gathered. Power shifted. "Honor," Queen Nyara declared, "is not owned by blood or crown." She offered Riley a place. He refused. "I belong where things go wrong," he said. Nyara nodded. "Then be my edge," she said. As Riley departed, the citadel watched him leave. And the queen ruled differently from that day forward. Because one human had stood. Riley Carter did not leave the citadel immediately. That surprised him. He had expected a ship, a polite dismissal, maybe a warning not to return. Instead, Queen Nyara Kesh asked him to stay one more cycle. Not as a prisoner. Not as a guest. As a witness. The court needed time to adjust. And so did she. The citadel felt different after the attack. The system still hummed, the walls still glowed, but something had shifted beneath the surface. Power, Riley realized, was like pressure in a sealed chamber. When it moved, everything around it had to settle again. He was standing near one of the outer observation galleries when the first advisor confronted him. The woman was tall, armored in ceremonial plating that marked her as one of the high strategists. Her eyes were sharp, calculating. "You are the human," she said, not bothering to hide her distaste. "I've been called worse," Riley replied calmly. "You interfered in royal matters," the advisor said. "You disrupted balance." Riley looked out at the stars. Balance seems to involve a lot of people dying. The advisor's jaw tightened. "You saved the queen. That earns gratitude. Not influence." Riley finally turned to face her. Good. I don't want influence. I want fewer funerals. She stared at him, clearly unsure how to respond to that. When she left, Riley exhaled slowly. Yeah, he muttered. This is going well. Queen Nyara watched these encounters from a distance. She did not intervene. That was deliberate. She wanted to see how her court reacted to a human who did not kneel, who did not ask permission to exist in their space. Riley, for his part, made no effort to blend in. He spoke when spoken to. He walked where allowed. He joked when nervous. And that unsettled them more than anger ever could. The military commanders were different. They respected results. One of them, a scarred officer with mechanical eyes, approached Riley in a hangar overlooking the fleet. You fought well, the commander said. Without training in our systems. I learn fast when people are shooting at me, Riley replied. You shielded the Queen, the commander continued. You chose her life over your own. Riley shrugged. Didn't feel like a choice. The commander studied him. That is what frightens us. That night cycle, the citadel dimmed to its artificial dusk. Riley sat alone in his assigned chamber, staring at the stars. His shoulder still ached. His thoughts ached more. He had survived again. But survival always came with a price. Queen Nyara arrived without announcement. She did not wear armor. Only a simple dark robe, her glowing markings dimmed. Her ears were angled slightly back, not defensive, not relaxed. Thoughtful. They do not trust you, she said. I wouldn't either, Riley replied. I barely trust me. She moved closer, standing beside him at the window. They believe you are changing me, Nyara said. Riley frowned. I'm not trying to. She turned to him. That is precisely why you are. Silence settled between them, heavy but not uncomfortable. You could leave now, she said. No one would stop you. Riley considered it. Then shook his head. Not yet. Her eyes softened. The next day, the border burned. News arrived in fragments at first. Skirmishes. Broken ceasefires. A fleet massing near disputed space. Nyara stood before the star map chamber, borders pulsing like open wounds. They sense uncertainty, she said. Empires always do. Riley studied the projections. He wasn't a strategist by training, but he knew patterns. Knew desperation when he saw it. They're testing you, he said. Seeing if mercy made you weak. Nyara's jaw tightened. And if it did? Riley met her gaze. Then they'll come harder. She dismissed the advisors. When they were alone, she spoke quietly. My people believe rulers must be distant, she said. Untouchable. You contradict that. Riley smiled faintly. Humans don't trust leaders who never bleed. She looked at him sharply. I bled. You stood back up, he said. That's the part they remember. Hours later, an emergency session was called. Commanders argued for preemptive strikes. Advisors demanded decisive force. Words like dominance and deterrence filled the air. Nyara listened. Then she looked at Riley. Speak, she said. The room froze. A human. Speaking in the royal chamber. Riley swallowed, then stepped forward. I'm not from your world, he said. I don't understand all your customs. But I know this, if you strike first now, you prove them right. That mercy scared you. Murmurs spread. If you do nothing, Riley continued, they'll think you're weak. Nyara's eyes never left him. So what do you suggest? She asked. Riley took a breath. Stand, he said. Publicly. Openly. Put yourself where they can see you. Show them you're not hiding behind fleets. Gasps echoed. That is madness, an advisor snapped. Maybe, Riley said. But fear spreads faster than fire. Let them fear your confidence. Nyara considered this. Then she nodded. The broadcast went out across the border systems. Queen Nyara Kesh appeared unarmored, standing before the living throne. Riley stood at her side, deliberately visible. I will not strike first, Nyara declared. But I will not kneel to threats. Her gaze hardened. Those who test my mercy will learn it has limits. Behind her, the fleet powered up, not advancing, not retreating. Waiting. The message was clear. We are ready. We are watching. Choose carefully. The response was immediate. The enemy fleet halted. Negotiation requests followed. Riley exhaled for what felt like the first time in days. See, he muttered. No explosions. Everyone wins. Nyara glanced at him. For now. Later, as the citadel returned to its steady rhythm, Nyara and Riley stood again beneath the stars. You will leave tomorrow, she said. Riley nodded. Figured. You changed nothing, she said softly. He smiled. I get that a lot. And everything, she finished. She stepped closer. My empire will remember the human who stood, she said. And I will remember the man who refused to kneel. Riley offered a casual salute. Try not to let them assassinate you. She huffed a quiet laugh. Try not to start a war. No promises. As his ship departed, Riley watched the citadel shrink into light. He wasn't a hero. Wasn't a ruler. Wasn't a symbol. He was just a human who chose where to stand. And somewhere behind him, an empire stood a little taller because of it.